Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christy with Van Ahn & Company. It is Friday, September 30th, so last day of trading in here in September. So you had quarterly stocks and small grain summary today from USDA. As far as those quarterly stocks, sometimes this report can be a little bit of a big deal considering the fact that you get your final stocks number, which is actually your final old crop carryout number. So this number that we got today solidified old crop carryout levels in corn and beans. Actually got no real new information, very close to expectations. Actually just 4 million bushel off on soybeans, so they were expecting 201, came in at 197. So no real news there, but the market took it as a buy, the fact that you just didn't get any bearish numbers out of there. So starting the day before, or starting trading here earlier before the report, you had corn actually down about 4 to 5 cents, beans down anywhere from 3 to 4, and you ended up rallying back out of this report. Corn closing up 7.5 cents, soybeans up 3 3/4 cents there. So support, even though you didn't get a whole lot of information. It was slightly bearish to the wheat market, but the wheat market didn't want to really take it all that way. You were able to come back slightly. Chicago closed up 3 cents on the day. Minneapolis up 4 3/4. It was the strongest out of the wheats here this week. And then Kansas City was the only one that was still down 1 3/4 there. So on the week, corn was steady. Soybeans were down 1, so not a lot of movement on the week there. And then you had some separation in these wheat markets between Minneapolis, your spring wheat, and the other one. So Minneapolis was able to close up 10 3/4 cents higher on the week, but you had both Kansas City and Chicago actually closing negative on the week there. So that separation came forward there. What news is out there as far as now that you're past quarterly stocks? October 12th is going to be your next USDA crop report. That's going to be a big one because a lot of people are expecting that you're going to get a yield increase into soybeans here. We haven't heard enough yield reports here in corn yet to really have a good idea whether or not they'll stick with the range that they are in or not. And then also China came out here and said they are going to become exporters of corn. They haven't done that in about 10 years. They're sitting on huge stockpiles of corn and they're having a bumper crop once again, just like we are here in the United States. Our growing conditions, our growing seasons are very similar there. And so what you ended up having is just they have too much corn around. So they're trying to get rid of it, going to become exporters. Those stockpiles have been sitting around for quite a long time. So it's questionable of what quality it is in. So you do have that information there. Other than that, you're just going to be waiting on some yield reports, and maybe a little bit of support came through this market. The fact that it sounds like harvest might get delayed here for a little bit. Plenty of rain in the 6 to 10 in the next 5 days there as well, trying to limit some harvest activity. So questionable whether you'll be getting those yield reports. Moving on past grains, it was a brutal week into the meat markets here. It was ugly. There was no way about it. Today became ugly shortly after the open, started slightly weaker and then just sold off through it. Live cattle down, locked limit lower. Hogs also locked limit lower as well. Feeders were able to rebound just slightly, closing down 435 on the day. Their limit is 450 on the week. Live cattle down 837.5 on the week. Feeders down over 13.5 bucks, and then hogs actually down almost 5 cents on the week. So there was a lot of pressure into these markets, as it sounds like supply is just ample. They're not running into any issues. You need some tightening supplies before you can really push this market. So it looked like maybe some liquidation along with that fundamental news. It has been very ugly as far as that goes. Other than that, not a whole lot of information. Weather will probably drive the trade here next week moving into the grains. I do have to close with a disclaimer. Trading in futures and options involves risk. Loss may not be suitable for all producers. Have a great weekend.